Hey, FanCasters, welcome to another episode here on FanCast. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's your boy Joe, and we've got some familiar faces once again for another ripping episode. Swizz, how's it going, my man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Very good. Very happy to see you and as well our next person. Mate, don't worry. I still love seeing you too, mate.
I was just going to say, you're really that happy to see him? That was very enthusiastic.
I'm sitting next to him.
He
mate.
always is
Yeah, you got to
enthusiastic
say
to see me.
that. Yeah, within arm's reach. Yeah.
That's all right, Swizz. That's all right. It's all right. Jazz, how's it going, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. Almost won last week, so I'm feeling better. Yeah, no complaints.
That's a win for North, isn't it?
Oh,
Almost.
mate, we didn't lose by 10 goals, so, anything's a win at this point.
And it felt like a loss, to be honest, for me. So
I was going to ask, almost a win, almost a loss perhaps, so...
some weird energies on this side
Imagine
of the
if
table.
we drew last week. Like,
I actually thought that was
coming into
that
this
was
with a
chance.
draw, you'd be sad, man.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
He's
Not
sad
gonna shy
enough
away
as
from
it
that.
is.
Yeah.
And then they won.
Yeah.
So...
Winning's not for everyone, mate.
winning is not for everyone.
Apparently, they're on the downfall,
Except for,
so,
for the team that's the highest
you-
on the
if
ladder
you-
in
if
this
you've
room.
heard-
But yeah,
Winning is not for everyone. Certainly wasn't for us last week, but there is one team in particular that you wanted to talk about this week.
Yeah.
You want to highlight in particular. Someone who hasn't been winning a lot, but you think they're copping it pretty hard, unfortunately.
Yeah,
obviously
I am.
St Kilda.
Yeah, of course. So we'll get onto them in a sec, mate. No, I'm going to kick off with Fremantle today. I'm sure, well, we saw the response from the West Coast podcast that we do have a few Western Australian listeners. So thank you for that. At the end of the day, it's just our opinion. We're analysing it just like the fans, and we're happy to hear your feedback because, as fans, you're obviously invested, but we're here as neutrals, like, discussing each club and the good and the bad. And Damien Barrett's been big on this week about Fremantle probably laying the boots in when he's not laying into North Melbourne, so it was nice for him to have a bit of a change there. But I think he was actually being a little bit harsh. Yeah, Freo's having a tough year, and it might be you guys don't agree with me here, but any club that, they've gone with a big plan to trade for the future here. They've brought in Jackson, given up currency to get him. Out the door went Blake Acres, Griffin Logue, Darcy Tucker. There's definitely another one there that I'm missing. Rory Lobb. Yes.
Yeah.
So you,
Lloyd
Chair of
Meek.
the year before.
Lloyd Meek as
Lloyd
well.
Meek,
So
yeah.
so you've got 4 or 5 guys who
Mundy.
were in the best 22. You've got an experienced guy like Mundy, who's been an absolute warrior for the Fremantle Dockers. And the plan was to start getting games into Neil Erasmus, Johnson, who's looked really good in that midfield. So, fresh faces who are going to take time to develop, but this is a long-term plan for Freo. They knew this, get games into Tracy up the forward line, restructure a new midfield with Brayshaw and Sarong leading a midfield for the first time, not being Fife and Mundy. There's a long-term plan here that the Dockers are trying to put in place.
They have added O'Meara, though,
They have.
to sort of give some experience.
They got to, don't they?
Yeah, but it's unlike other clubs where, like Hawthorn, we've talked about cutting real deep. They've tried to, offset that a bit with some experienced players to show them the way. Now, I don't know if they were thinking this was going to be the fall that much, but at the same time, you take out that sort of experience out of any team and put new players in. And I think come next year and the year after, they'll be more better for it, especially next year if they get an easier fixture, if the AFL still does this easy fixture, 666 sort of situation. I mean, you never know with the AFL and how they do stuff now if Trevor's all not there. But I think, if I'm a Freo supporter, you'd be disappointed, but I'd be thinking long term and going, I can still see the path where they're going.
So what did Damo actually say?
Oh, he was like,
That'd be good to know.
Yeah, you'd be really disappointed in how they're going. They won a final last year, and it's just to be down there. They're lucky not to be below Hawthorn. I think that's sort of paraphrasing what he sort of said. Which you can understand that, but the competition's so close too.
I'm pretty sure they're still in the power rankings, aren't they? Like 12th or something, or 11th?
And a
West
couple
15th,
results go. A couple. I know that you guys have been copying it ridiculously, but a couple of results go different ways, which we've seen. Like you guys won by a point, we won a point on the weekend. Saints have had some close wins, close losses. Freo could have been that situation where it could have easily 2 or 3 more wins. And the way the season is, they could be challenging for top 4.
Well, how many wins have they got?
I think they got 7.
They're on 28 points right now.
So that's 7 wins.
7 wins.
So they're only
Quick
just, I love it.
So if they finish with 9 or 10 wins with all those changes, you're like, you take that. And then next year you try and get the 12, 13, and that's potentially finals. So you take one step back. Or
Maybe,
two-step,
maybe I'm a
whatever the
little
saying is, but-
misguided, but going back to your point about the team going backwards, I almost feel like the guys they got rid of were fringe players or maybe just on the best 22. I reckon them bringing Jackson in was like, hey, we've got this player who's going to play for us, is going to do well, shore up as a second ruckman forward. We might actually do better or do the same as what we did last year. I don't think them giving Melbourne their first round pick, they knew, it was going to be bottom 6. I reckon, we've traded Jackson. We've given them a pick last year. We've given them pick 10, pick 11. That's fair. Instead of giving them a top 5 this year.
It still could end up being that way. Like if Freo were and like to win a couple more, if Sydney or Adelaide or the Suns drop a few games, they could very easily finish sort of that 12th. And with the compensation picks that could happen for Mackay, and if there's any the Suns players getting bidded on, which is very likely, there could be 2 before maybe Freo's pick. It's going to probably bump out to Melbourne to at least pick 10 anyway and stuff like that. So you're sitting there going, well, pick 10 for Jackson.
You take that.
Yeah.
You take that.
Exactly. The interesting one with them, do you think they would consider moving on Darcy if it meant trying to get I don't think picks are going to help them, but if they could somehow find a player which would fix them, which most likely looks like either a centre-half back or a centre-half forward, would you consider that?
I think it sets the team back too far. He's not someone who's almost 30. Like, this is a guy who's going to be
prime.
What's he, 24?
Not even in his
They've
prime,
set
actually.
up his second ruckman to play with him. He can play forward. Jackson can go to the mid. They can move around, do that kind of thing. It'd be stupid.
You get rid of him, you get a half forward, then in a year's time we're here chatting, damn, they need a ruck that can support Jackson.
Yeah,
And they're
exactly.
like, oh, right, they did have one and they got rid of him.
What if the half forward, which is, it's all rumour and speculation, we can get to trade chat later, but Aaron Norton's name, being a former Western Australian, has been touted. Right? Now, if there was somewhere where Darcy was to go and then Norton was coming back,
I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
Every
that.
time a WA player is having an off week, he's gone off to
exactly.
Freo at the
Yeah,
end of the
yeah,
year. Something's happening. He's
Yeah,
going
he's,
to
not,
go.
he's not leaving.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I don't think, but that's why I was just using him as the example anyway.
yeah.
If it was
Cam
'cause
Zerha's been linked to them for the last 5 years. He's not leaving. either.
Logan McDonald's the other one that gets thrown up because it's not that Sydney are ever going to let him go. Even though Buddy apparently has come out saying I might go on another year. If you're a Marty McLean or not as much McDonald. But both those boys must be thinking, come on, bud, we've been waiting all this time. This is my opportunity. And at what point does another club go to one of them and go, come on, like you've done your time enough. We can give you that opportunity right now.
And it's up to Sydney too, like to have the balls, I'd say, to go to someone like Franklin and say, like, you can play on, but there's no guarantee you're going to get more than 5 games, mate.
Has he
we
got
need to
more
get
than
some-
5 games this
Like
year?
Nick Rewalt
Yeah,
was
he
tapped on
has.
the shoulder.
I think he was 12. He's 12 games for 19 goals, 11 or 12 games for 19 goals. So you're probably looking still out. Probably kicks a couple goals a game.
And the money has to be substantially.
Yeah.
Less.
Well,
I understand you've had
There's no way he's on
Side-
$500,000.
No.
next
He
year.
was this year.
Yeah, but I mean next
Yeah.
year.
He's
He's
got
going
to
to
be
be
signing on for next
300.
year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Max.
Sidetracking from our Freo talk,
Yeah.
right? Buddy Franklin at Sydney, I don't mind it because at the very least he takes away the best defender from them and it allows the younger guys to develop. They don't have a number 2. It's not like Kennedy and Darling and then Oscar Allen is the 3rd and one of them's got to retire. You've got 2 younger players. Buddy takes the number 1, the other 2 dominate. And that's what we've seen the last few weeks too. But Freo, of course.
There's some small discussion. We don't probably get as much being based here in Melbourne and Freo being a non-Victorian team. But there's definitely Freo supporters out there, and they're divided. Some can see the long-term progress that's going to happen. Others are like, well, this is not the plan, and you get those now that Stewie Yu's been moved on. It's always what's the next coach they're going to come after the media, and Longmuir's name is now coming up. Now I think he's just safe as house.
a good coach.
I said this last week, Warren, but the best thing about Freo is the fact that West Coast are the other Perth team, so everyone is going to go to Freo. No one's going to West Coast in the next 5 years. Everyone's going to Freo. If you want to go home, you want to stay in the club, maybe you want to change, go and hang out with some miners on your weekend. Not miners under 18, but miners actually mining, go to Freo.
That was a good choice of words.
Jeez, man, our eyes went up very quickly there. But why not? Why not West Coast, mate? Why not West Coast? They're the ones going to have a full list clean out. West
You
Coast.
guaranteed a game.
You're going to guarantee the game. They're going to
got
have
money.
a massive turnover, a lot of supporters. They've got a
of money.
massive waiting
They do
list
have it.
that is going all the way around Australia to get to North Melbourne. So like there's heaps of people out there. Why not West Coast? Why does it have to be Fremantle? You look at Hunt, right? He went to West Coast. He didn't go to
So
Freo.
there's always going to be fringe players that are going to get better opportunity there. But if we usually with these debates are talking about players, in that sort of top 10 at a club, and why are you leaving? Well, you're leaving because you think this team might be on the verge of doing something. And Freo are obviously building a list like Sarong and Brayshaw are in that perfect age bracket. That's a shout out to my cricket club. They love that word, age brackets, but they do. They have the right age brackets at Freo where you can see the progress going, and you're building for not just a 1 year split up. They're going to go for long term success here.
Yeah, but you look at Lachie Neale. He left Fremantle to go to Brisbane. I think a lot of people were a bit surprised by that because I don't think Brisbane at that point in time had genuinely showed themselves to be a threat.
Yeah, but that Brisbane at the time were like Freo in the situation right now. You can see what they were doing with the development, and now so it wouldn't surprise me if there was a player out there like a Lachie Neale goes, well, might be my opportunity to get into Fremantle because I think I can make a difference to take them from here to.
Well, that's why all those players are going to go to North Melbourne in the next 5 years because we're getting all of them.
Of course.
If you're a guy who's a breakout player, early 20s, maybe mid 20s, North Melbourne's going to say, hey, here's $1 million because we're going to be looking for them. Everyone.
Because you cannot sign a big name player to save your
That's
life.
worked well for North.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
guys, for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share, send it to all of your friends and family because I hope you had as much fun as we had fun. Right, Swiss?
100%. Always have fun here.
Beautiful. Jakey?
You know it.
Jazz?
Mate, I love talking some proper footy chat.
See you guys in the next one. Bye.
So yeah.